All right, guys, John Cooper here, and this is a match reaction from the game against Brighton. We lost 1-0, and yeah, it was a very, very poor performance. It sort of summed up the limpness, the staleness that had been I've seen sort of coming on in the last few games, and really it was compounded by today's 1-0 defeat. Where do we start with this? I want to first of all start. I'm not going to start off by slating Spurs. I'm actually going to give Brighton a lot of credit. I thought the way they set up was absolutely fantastic. I thought they were more organised. They played as a team. They closed the ball down well. They were pressing high. They were pressing well. They were pressing with a shared awareness where every other player is on the pitch. Whereas the difference between them and Spurs was that Spurs looked like a team of individuals thrown onto the pitch for the first time, whereas Brighton looked like a team that had been well drilled, and they knew their formation, they knew their shape, they knew when to press, when to sit off, and they just completely they completely had us, to be honest, from the very first minute. I was even thinking the first 10-15 minutes, Brighton looked the better team. They had a few chances, but that kept going, and they scored, I think, around the 15th to 20th minute, I think, and then from then I thought we're going to come into this game. I still fancied a reaction from us, but that reaction just didn't come. And I kept looking at our players thinking, who's underperforming? I was looking for really every single player to see who was not performing on the pitch, and everyone seemed to be working hard. But Brighton just had our number. They were, every time we got the ball in an advanced area, they had at least 2 or 3 men around our most dangerous players. Ndombele was dropping deep, and he wasn't really effective in that role, but he was having to drop deep into that role because we were lacking so much penetration through the lines that he was having to drop back into that role, and there was just no cohesion. There was too much space in the middle of the park. We were unable to actually get the ball through the midfield and get on the half turn. So basically, deflect, have a Brighton player there and being able to move past them, and let the ball run across your feet, and then get that ball fizzing through to the forwards. The only one that was really doing that was Ndombele, and he had a few moments of doing that. But as soon as he moved the ball forwards, our forwards, our attackers weren't able to do anything with the ball because they were hounded by the Brighton defence. So I would like to say it's very easy just to say Spurs are a shambles, but you've got to give credit to the opposition here. I thought they were absolutely spectacular today, despite the fact that individually they're not as good as us. But I thought as a team, as an organisation, they were, the way they organised, I should say, was fantastic. But if we do look at the individual players, I thought that. Well, yeah, where do we start with this? The defence, I don't think it worked for us. I think that the having 3 at the back, it was almost like they didn't really know which position to be in. They didn't really know where, what area to run into. Especially if you looked at their goal, when the ball came in, they all went flat. They all defended deep. They all went to the byline. They all went to the goal line, and the ball got cut back, and they scored from it. All 3 got suckered into that. Not one of them thought, "I'll go deep. I'll step out a little bit." Poor organisation there from the back line. Where else do we go from this? I thought no one's really going to call out Bergwijn, but I thought Bergwijn did nothing. He doesn't really get on the half turn. He doesn't take a risk. He's not brave enough on the ball. And I just thought the decision I would have made at half time would have been to take Bergwijn off and put an extra central midfielder on, because I thought we were lacking in the central areas. But you know what? This was just a day where they were just better than us. They were more organised. They were brighter. They were quicker. They wanted it more. They had a better passage of play. They were just better set up than us. We just looked like a bunch of individuals thrown together. So where do we go from here? I don't know. It shows that when Kane's not playing, and he's not playing in that central pivot position, that kind of quarterback position, we look lost. And that's what it looked like today. It looked a little bit like the tail end of the Juan de Ramos era, if you can remember that. So yeah, I don't know what to say about this. This is an ongoing thing, an issue that I've had with Mourinho. I don't think that he's going to have a little wave of performances, but now we're seeing things level out and to how I expected it to be. And yeah, it's not looking too good, if I'm being honest with you. I thought you could have brought on anyone in the second half and it wouldn't have made a difference. I thought Vinicius tried hard, he worked hard, he was strong, he was trying. Everyone was trying, but we just couldn't bash down that brick wall that Brighton was putting up, which is a shame because we should be able to be beating teams like Brighton, but we just didn't have it. And I don't know what to say at this point. Yeah, It's poor. It's very poor. And I don't think it's just on this game. I think this has been coming for a long while. You know, I don't think that we're playing to our potential. I think the players are playing at about 70-80%. I don't think they know. There's no real sense of knowing where all the other players are in their positions. It all feels a little bit off the cuff at the moment, and I think that's a bit of an issue for us. But anyway, there's some thoughts. I'd love to know your thoughts. Leave them in the comments section. Do you think Mourinho is being exposed at the moment? Do you think he's, you know, it's right that he's going to be coming under a certain amount of criticism for his performance recently, or do you think it's up to the players? Do you think there's any individual players that are not performing? I know people are going to scapegoat people like Son, but for me, he was working really, really hard, but he was ending up in cul-de-sacs and getting stuck and having to go backwards, and so was a lot of our forwards. I think Bergwijn's getting an easy run at the moment. No one's criticising him, yet I don't think that he's being brave enough on the ball. I don't think he's getting on the half-turn. I don't think he's taking risks enough. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to digest there. There's a lot to go over, but I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. So that's it. This is We Are Tottenham TV. My name is John Cooper. Please leave your comments and I will see you in the next show. Cheers.